Right, this next one's a Munster cast. I typically use only fiberglass for this cast. I do not use plaster. Make sure that my stock, I have plenty of stockinette. Looks like I'm going to be doing a long arm, but you do not. The other thing I would not do is you don't want to cut this. In a long arm cast, I would cut that out. In a Munster, I do not. Again, make sure that you pad above the borders so that you have no fiberglass up against the patient. I just have a good habit of padding the thumb because it's a problem area with patients, especially the web space. %50 overlap all the way down gives me 2 layers. You want between 2 or 3 layers of padding. Again, this is going to be my border down here, so I'm going to actually throw a little extra padding there around and around, and then work my way back up. I will go back and hit that Olecranon radioner styloid. Munster cast will be used to treat isolated radius fractures, secondary distal radius fractures, someone that's coming out of a long arm, not quite ready to start supinating and pronating. A good Munster cast, typically what I like to do is bend the elbow at 90 degrees. I know that some say 45 degrees, but I like to do 90 degrees, and the reason is so that I can trim it down shorter in the back. If I do 45, I tend to sometimes get too much extension, and then therefore they could supinate and pronate. A good Munster cast should only go to about 45 degrees of extension and full flexion, and limit supination and pronation. A lot of times when I do a Munster cast, it's because someone has 2 broken wrists or distal radius fractures. The worst one would get the long arm, and then the other arm would get the Munster. It's very rare you would do 2 long arm casts. She's going to hold her arm up for me. I'm going to throw a lot of fiberglass down here, and the reason why is because I'm only going to be able to hit it once. My money roll will not go back down there. So it looks like I put a lot of fiberglass there, and I did, but I did it on purpose. I cut almost completely through the web space when I make my cut through there. Again, slight pronation. It's not unusual to put this cast in full supination. No radioulnar deviation, 20 degrees of dorsiflexion. I do a supracondylar mold with my thumb and my index finger. Some people will use their palms, and that's fine too. These molds are quite aggressive. And you wait for it to dry. 60s handshake, watch your fingers on the back side or on the dorsal side of the cast. If you look carefully, I have padding well beyond the borders of my fiberglass. That's a It's a good habit to get into when you're rolling casts. I'm supporting the elbow here. I'm not allowing the cast to rest on the table. I have pretty aggressive supracondylar molds that we're going to trim out. You trim out above those molds. Do not trim out your molds. So I pad that thumb, padding completely around the thumb, definitely around the metacarpal heads, because this is where they bend their fingers down to. Almost ready for my money roll. I do need to trim out around the supracondylar molds, which I'm going to do here in just a moment. Just about ready. I think we can go ahead and go. Again, I am padding well beyond my molds. Actually tear down my cast padding, fold it around. Bring my stockinette over. Remember how I said this was thicker? I'm not going to be money rolling that area again. Now, I limit supination, pronation, full flexion, 45 degrees of extension. The cast digs into the back of her arm. Okay? If they extend completely, they'd be able to supinate and pronate. So a properly applied Munster cast does not extend beyond 45 degrees. And then my money roll. Now, some people try to cover all that up. I don't really get too concerned about it. She can put her arm down now. The cast is dry. And this is only for looks. You don't have to, this is not really for strength. I'm done. Throw the rest of it away. Don't continue to roll. Make too thick of a cast, you can burn the patient with a cast saw, or worse, cut them. Again, even my money roll, I laminate, smooth it out. Fiberglass does respond to rubbing it. It does smooth out. Not quite like plaster, but it does. Munster cast.